It's February 27th, 2009, and this is your Electro-Metro Update. Most recently, I added 6 more batteries into the back of the car just on a simple plywood frame. Nothing real fancy, but just something enough to hold the batteries in, solid and level. However, weight was an issue. The back of the car was riding really low, would go over bumps really hard. So I need to boost the suspension. So what I did was I jacked up the car and I was able to work on it to get one of the springs out. That way I could take a look at it, I could measure it, and I could start talking to people about what I could do for boosting up the suspension. As it is right now, another Geo-Metro owner is sending me his old front springs, which are a little bit longer than the rear springs. So I'm hoping that I can pop those in there and that'll help boost the rear suspension. Now I also continued to strip out the inside of the car. That meant taking out all the plastic interior body panels. I also took out the seats, and then I took out the carpet. One thing I did notice under the carpet on the driver's side, there was a little rust there, but it looks minor. I think it was just from water on shoes and boots in the winter that got down through the carpet into the metal. On the front of the car, the master plan is to mount 4 batteries up there. I'm going to run them the long way, longitudinally to the car, 4 of them across where the radiator originally went. Now, unfortunately, when I tried looking at how to do this, they sort of exactly didn't fit. But maybe by removing the hood release latch and tinkering around with the headlight buckets, I might still be able to squeeze them in there, but it's going to be a little bit of work figuring out how to do that. Now back to the back seat, the plan here is to cut a hole and mount a box down through the back seat that will hold batteries, and that's basically where the gas tank used to be. So what I did then was drill a couple of holes, 2 of them next to each other, to make a slot wide enough to fit a metal cutting blade through, and then I used my battery operated reciprocating saw to cut a couple of straight cuts to make a hole in the back seat here. So by having this hole in the back seat, I can see how suspension, brake lines, and other things that might interfere with the battery box line up above and below the car. It also gives me the chance to take silly self-portraits. So it looks like the next step then is going to be actually laying out the battery box, building it, and putting it in there. Today is February 27th, 2009, and here's what I've been up to lately on the Electro-Metro. A while back I put 6 more batteries in the back. Those were just fastened down to a simple plywood tray, and the first thing I noticed, of course, was that the back of the car rode way too low, which meant it's time for a suspension upgrade. So what I did was I jacked up the back of the car and I figured out how to remove one of the springs. That way I'd be able to take a look at it, measure it, and figure out what my other options are. Now, as of right now, another Geo-Metro owner is sending me some front springs from a Geo-Metro, which are a little bit longer. I'm hoping to be able to put those in place for some additional rear boost. Also, I